All right, guys, we're going to talk about MCP, Model Context Protocol. This is something that Anthropic came up with, and this is supposed to work with their own Anthropic desktop, this, that, the other. So all that mumbo jumbo later. My stack is LangChain LangGraph. So this is the only thing I'm concerned about, and that's what I'm going to show here. So basically what's going to happen is we're going to create a LangGraph pre-built ReAct agent. And when we ask a question, so this guy is going to go ahead and talk to some of the MCP servers, and this MCP servers serves the tools that an agent needs, and that's how we can categorize all the tools. We can have subject-wise, for example, if I create a CRM-based project, then CRM tools will be hosted in this MCP1 server, and that will have, let's say, these tools like show products, show contacts, show orders. All of these are coming, not to worry, but in this video we're going to touch up on just the basics. I am just using this as an example, but in our practical example we're going to use much simpler tools and stuff. Anyway, so let's say if we have a MCP server 2, which will help us create a shopping agent that might have some WooCommerce tools like show products, place order, show credit cards, pay with Stripe, etc., etc. And this server with all the tools are going to use these tools to contact outside to the cloud. Let's say our headless WooCommerce backend sitting in the cloud, right? So that's what it's going to talk to. But none of these will be inside our ReAct agent. ReAct agent will be completely free of all that. This guy will only contact these MCP servers whenever it requires a certain tool, right? And and another advantage of this setup is that we also have a bunch of independent tools that created by other people. We can have those servers, download them and have them running in our cloud and our own cloud environments like DigitalOcean, whatever, and then we can just tap into those, and that way we're not going to have to write those tools ourselves. Just to give you a quick example, all right, you can always go to these GitHub repo, MCP servers by Docker, and here you will see whole bunch of reference servers that people made for us, like for example this GitHub one that I was just showing. Here you will see create or update files, push files, create repository, etc., etc. All these are made by other people that we can utilize using those MCP servers. Here are some third-party projects by other companies and community servers like MySQL, Spotify, and something that we already know like Docker, Kubernetes, and let's say this is the movie database, Airtable, Fetch, etc., etc., and a bunch of other resources. So these are basically other servers, MCP servers, that already has ready-made tools for us. We can just host them locally or in our own cloud environments, so that we can always tap into those whenever we create our ReAct agent. And this time I did not show the LangGraph orchestration because this is not about orchestration. This is about single agents, how they're connected, how they should be connected to their tools in the future. That's what this is about. That said, let's get to it. All right, so I am in my Windows 10 environment, and this is my Python version right here, 3.12.9. And let's go inside the directory we want to create our project at, ls. It has nothing in there, so let's create our environment. There you go, it's done. So let's do an ls again. It's right there. Now activate it. It's a PowerShell, so that's the command. Boom, we're activated. Now let's clear the screen and go ahead and install our necessary libraries. Okay, so what are we doing? Pip install LangChain MCP adapters. This is something that LangChain people created for us. It's a wrapper around the MCP servers. And then LangGraph, LangChain OpenAI for the models, and python.env and uvicorn for a server. So let's go. All right, so installation is done. So let's go code. Boom. VS Code is here. All right. First thing we do, we create a .env file. It's going to be an example, just like that. You put in all your API keys in there. Boom, you're done. So I'm going to go ahead and create a real one and come right back. All right, guys, so this is the environment right now. I just added my .env file, and we're going to keep it very simple because we're learning absolute basics. So I have a client agent.py and weather server.py. This is going to be our MCP server that will hold a tool that will give us some sort of a weather info. Very simple, just for testing. And this is where our LangGraph pre-built ReAct agent will be. And this is the guy who will contact this MCP server. Right now they're all blank. I'm just going to bring them one by one. And I'm just saying this guy will contact this guy and grab the tool and give us our answer, right? And here I have a setup side by side, exact same folder. I just activated them both. And this is where we're going to go ahead and launch the server and the client so that we can see what's going on live, right? That being said, let's get started. All right, so as mentioned before, we are going to keep things very, very simple. So this is what our weather MCP server is going to look like. We are bringing in FastMCP class from the MCP server FastMCP. By the way, you probably noticed that we did not install MCP at all, right? That's because our LangChain MCP adapter is taking care of it all. So we don't have to worry about all that. So once we have this function, once we have this class, we instantiate this class with a name, because this server is going to have a name weather. This is going to be our weather MCP server. Our MCP server object is created. And then, as usual, at mcp.tool, we just declare our tool. And this is the MCP tool decorator. This is what we use to declare our tool. And here's a very simple get weather tool. At this point, even though we're passing a string here, but we're just hard coding it right now, just returning it's always sunny in New York. All right, because this is just for a test. We need to make sure they work. So once our tool and server ready, we just run the server mcp.run and use transport SSE. SSE means server side event. The SSE works over the HTTP protocol. That's why we can use port 8000, 8001, etc. Okay, that being said, let's check out our client. All right, the usual stuff. Only new thing here is the multi-server MCP client coming from LangChain MCP adapters. And then this is the usual pre-built create ReAct agent. We've been using the hell out of it throughout the entire series here. And now this chat OpenAI for our model building. That said, we just simply load the environment variables here and then declare our main function, create our model with GPT-4o, and then invoke the multi-server MCP client function, which is an async function. And here we tell our agent what to look for and where to go to look for it. So we're giving it a name weather, so which matches this guy right here. And then giving it the URL to go look for its tools, localhost 8000 SSE, transport SSE, which matches this guy right here. And the whole thing we create as client. And this is the guy we use when we create our ReAct agent using create ReAct agent, pass in the model, and then this client dot get tools. This is a very handy dandy functions given to us by LangChain, and this is the one which actually gets the tool from the client using this info. So now our agent is ready. We simply move forward and invoke async invoke, by the way, using await, because the whole thing is async. We simply ask us question, what is the weather in New York? Very simple. If the answer is this right here, then we know everything worked. And in the end, we just print out the AI response dot content, just that line that AI sends us using remote tool in the MCP server. And finally, we just invoke our main function using async io.run. With that, let's go test the hell out of it. All right, finally we're here. Let's go and run the server here. Weather server, so here we go. Boom, there you go. Port 8000, it's running. And now let's test our client. So once again, we're simply asking this question. What is the weather in New York? And this guy does not have any tool right now, not locally. It has the tool right here in the server. So if we get this answer, our rig worked. Let's go. Boom. There you go. It's talking to it. And it's about to show us the answer. And there we go. The weather in New York is described as always sunny. So there you go. We have built and tested our first MCP server using LangGraph, pre-built ReAct agent, and LangChain MCP adapters. Alright guys, here's a bonus for you guys. So basically, this is the simplest possible weather server and weather MCP server, right? But if we run it this way, we have no control over what port it's going to start. It always starts on port 8000. But what we're trying to do here is have multiple servers and have our client or our ReAct agent connect to multiple servers at a time to grab its necessary tools. That's why we're going to have a math server up. And this time what we're doing is similarly, we're starting our MCP server object here, but with mcp.settings.port, we're changing the port to 8001. Because if I tried the same thing, it would conflict with that port 8000 over and over. So right here, we're just changing the port, and then rest is exactly the same. The same MCP tool decorators right here. We are having two arithmetic functions, add and multiply, as the math tools. And exact same way, mcp.run transport SSE right here, we're just launching that MCP server. So right now, if we ask our client or ReAct agent two different questions like what is the New York weather plus what is 2 and 2 adds up to, it's going to go ahead and for math questions, it's going to access this MCP server. And for weather questions, it's going to access this one right here to answer our questions. And that said, let's bring in the changes to our client. So what we're doing, exact same thing. All the imports are just the same. All the functions, everything same. Only thing is here where we actually put our weather MCP location. Here we are also adding the math MCP server location and the URL. That's it. And this way, if you have multiple servers, you just keep adding them and it should be working. But only difference is one is targeting port 8000, other one is port 8001. The rest is exactly the same. Create ReAct agent, model client.getTools. That's going to go ahead and collect the tools necessary. And here we just brought in one extra question. What is 10 plus 5? This is a math question, right? And we're going to just print our AI response as usual. And we're keeping the weather question exactly the same. And the same way, we're going to go ahead and run our main function right here with async IO. Everything is the same, simple addition, and we have a new server. So let's go test it out. So right here, we're going to run our client from. And if we get a math answer and our weather answer, we know everything worked. And here we have two of the servers running side by side. Here, the weather server at port 8000, and here the math server at port 8001. So let's do this. Python client, cross our fingers. Oh, and let's go see what's happening. Boom, see? It just contacted both of them, and I am pretty sure once we go back, we have two of our answers coming from two separate MCP servers at a time, one math server, one weather server. Both answers are correct. With that, I finish this video. Thanks for watching.